Hello fellow book readers, book enthusiasts, book collectors, and book lovers like me. I thought I'd share my first video with a book haul. Thought what better way to show my love for books and share it than talk about some of the books that I pick out when I do go shopping for books. Before we get into the books, I want to talk about how I procure most of my collection of books. Most of the books, 95% of the books that I do get are from the thrift store, my local thrift store. I can count on my hand about the number of books that I've bought from Barnes & Noble and Target, and it's not a lot. And the reason behind that is because I'm in the position where I have a good thrift store that gets relatively newer copies of books weekly, that I can get my books at $2 a book instead of going to Barnes & Noble and Target or Walmart. I know that I am very fortunate enough that I can do this and that it is accessible to me, that I have a good thrift store near me. I know that is not possible towards some people, or it's just not accessible, that's their only option is to go to Barnes & Noble and Target or Walmart. I know this, and I know that I'm extremely blessed that I can afford this option for me. That being said, if you can afford looking for books at a cheaper price, I think it's so much better for the environment that you do, because you're not adding more money into printing books when you can just get them not only cheaper, but gently used. And that's okay. Nothing's wrong with the books. I can show you that a lot of the books that I do get from the thrift store are brand new books, because I'm also very lucky that Barnes & Noble and Target has a contract with my thrift store that they donate their books there. So not only do I get sometimes brand new books, but the books that they do have there are already very good quality books. That being said, I know you guys want to watch the video and see the books that I got, so I'll show them to you. The first book that I only got 2 hardcovers. This is one of them. This is also from Barnes & Noble. The reason I know this is because I got an Oscar Wilde book from my thrift store, and it was also from Barnes & Noble. And that one wasn't... Did I say Oscar Wilde? I think I did. If I didn't, well, that's the one I got. And now this one is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I think everybody who has taken English class at some point in the United States has read the story of Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And it's actually one of the stories that really got me into reading. So, the second book I got was The Light We Lost by Jill Santopolo. I also don't know what this book is about. A lot of the books that I got yesterday that I'm showing right now, I bought with the intention of going into them blind, meaning that I haven't read the synopsis. I just know of them. I know that people said good things about them, so that's my reasoning behind getting this one, and I will go into it blind and talk about whether I liked it or didn't like it. The next book I got was by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book in the The Court of Thorn and Roses series, or trilogy, whatever you want to call it. I've read all her books. I've read this book and the Throne of Glass series via ebook. Now I see them at the thrift store, in my local thrift store. So I don't want to go out and buy the book brand new. My reasoning is I just don't want to spend $15 when I can spend $2. So whenever I do see them at my local thrift store, then I'll get them there. I don't, then I won't bother collecting them. These 2 books behind me, I thought I was getting a very good deal when I got these books, because I heard a lot of great things by Ruta. I'm not even going to bother saying her last name. I don't want to butcher it. Wrote The Salt to the Sea, and I heard really good things about it. I heard it was a really good book, and so they had a lot of this book at the thrift store, and so when I saw this book, I thought it was a different book. Lo and behold, when I got home, I didn't notice, well, I did notice that it said previously published as Between Shades of Grey. This is Between Shades of Grey. So this is the movie copy edition, and this is a regular edition of the book. And so I'll read one of them and then either give one away to a friend or donate it back to my local thrift store and, complete the cycle. Now to the next pile of books, I guess. Tom Hanks. When this book first came out, I thought it was going to be a biopic memoir, about Tom Hanks' life, because I like Tom Hanks as an actor and as a person, so I wasn't bothered reading a memoir. I don't read a lot of memoirs, but what I didn't know is that it's not a memoir, it's a collection of stories that he wrote. So I thought that was really cool. I don't know if he's written before or if this is the debut of his writing. I don't care either way. I'll still read it, It's Tom Hanks. Who doesn't love Tom Hanks? So I'll eventually get to it. Also go into blind. I'm not going to read what it's about. I always said it's a collection of stories. Oh, don't want to drop those. Next book, Paulo Coelho. Now, if you know anything about following me on Instagram, you know that I talk about Paulo Coelho a lot. And it's because I think he's a very magical writer. He's like one of my favorite writers. Anytime I'm at the thrift store and I see his books, I always pick them up because the books that I have read by him are always my favorites. And he's always at my local thrift store, so it's called Manual to the Warrior of Light. And the reason I like Paulo Coelho books is because not only is it a very beautiful story in each of them, but it's very philosophical, right? It makes you think. What I also didn't notice until I got home is that it's a UK edition, so that story is probably crazy. I want to know that story, right? Like how it got here into my local thrift store in the United States. Next book, The Selection by Kira Cass. I actually read this book via ebook. I didn't finish it because I couldn't get into it. It just wasn't working for me. So I stopped reading it, I put it down, and I moved on with my life. But I saw it at the thrift store, and I thought maybe I'll get into it again. Maybe I'll like it again. So I'll reread it, try to get into it. If I like it, then I'll try to find the rest of the books. But for now, I'll read that one. And last but not least, these three big babies. They're very huge. I don't know whether I did a bad thing or a good thing in getting them. I just knew that there was a set of 3, and that's the series completion of it. That's the only part I looked up, is if it was complete or not. And it was, so I got them. And they're either 3 books each in each story, or they're a trilogy. I don't know. I didn't get that far into my research. This is controversial because people either love J.L. Smith or they hate them. And they either love the Vampire Diaries series or they hated it. And I'm going into a blind. I will probably either love it and hate it. And if I hate it, then I'll donate it back to my thrift store. And if I love it, then I just found the next best thing in books. So that's all the books that I got. I got 11 in total, and at my local thrift store it's buy 4 get 1 free, so I got 2 books free, which is great. I also spent around 30 bucks, and to me that's a great total, because if I went to Barnes & Noble or Target and I bought 2 books, then that would probably be around $30. So to me that's worth it, you know. It's always worth it when you're buying thrift books, because you're not contributing to more books that are being printed, and you're still expressing your love for them, and you're still reading what is out there, just not at the expense of more trees, you know. So this is my first book haul. Let me know if you've read any of these books, and if you haven't, or if you're interested, let's talk about them in the comments below. The next few videos will be more book hauls. They will also feature books that I like based on genre, and sometimes they'll be based on not genre, and they'll just be mixed and collections of things and all bookish amazingness, you know. Thank you for watching if you've made it this far, and thank you for welcoming me. This is my love for books have got me this far, so I think they'll get me a little farther. So thank you.